So we will have a recording later to reference if we need it. Prospect Square in pieces. And the only thing that we're going to be going over today is how do I upload my contacts into the system? How do I group them in the system? And why is this important? Not only so that I can use the quarterly, the area, and the market reports. I can also create some listing flyers and send them out to people directly through Prospect Square now. But this is going to be the catalyst for marketing for Listing Concierge as well. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you. Alrighty. So see, I always have a million tabs signed up. So we start with desk. And again, we have Prospect Square. And for those of you that have heard this a million times, I apologize, but you can also type that in the Find an App up here and go to Prospect Square. Excuse me, and we're going to log straight into the system. So I'm going to log in as an agent so that we can look at what you guys are looking at when you get in to the system. So when you first come into the system, you're going to be into, you're going to get into the dashboard. And I'm just going to take that little survey and get rid of that real quick. And the first thing that you want to do is your profile, make sure that all of your information is complete. So over here on the menu, you're going to see on the left-hand side of your screen, we have contacts. And this is where we're going to import and input all of the contacts that we have. So you can see here, I have a lot of contacts in the system, really not as many as I should have probably, but some people here and there. Some of them are me and some of them are agents. So I'm able to go into the system and hit the new button here. And I can go through and I can add a new client to the system as I need. I'm going to pick on somebody here and put you into the system because you're probably not already here. So the title here, you don't have to fill that part out. It will tell you in Prospect Square. In red, it will be anything that's mandatory. That will be the first name, the last name, and the email address. So I'm going to go ahead and add somebody into my system. It's going to go ahead and give the cover letter salutation. So this will appear on your report as shown below. And I like that it actually like puts it right here. This is where this is going to come out in my report. So it's got the person's name. That's great. If I already have groups assigned, I can choose which group to put this person in. And then I have to have an email. So I'm going to go ahead and type the person's email in. And then I'm going to save. Actually, I'm going to save and close. Now I can add extra information in here. Look at all this crazy information I could put in. I could put some notes in. I could put all kinds of information. And really, it's completely up to you if you want to do that. You can do that. If you don't, that's okay too. And any time that you have the little bubbles with the question marks, it's going to come up if you hover, and it's going to let you know some information. It will give you the opportunity now to put your signature office in, and this is just if you're in more than one office. So for those of you that are Maryland and Pennsylvania, that might come into play. But you'll see, again, it gives me the option to put in a lot of information, but only the first name, the last name, and the email address are required. Now, if you set up all of your groups before you do this, you're able to add the person to the group right away, and we can save and we can close. The record has been created. This person is now in my database. They're going to show up on top. It's going to let me edit this client anytime that I need. I can delete this person if I need to. Person's first name, last name, email address. If I have a mobile number, what group or what groups are this person in? Area, market, and quarterly reports. Is someone signed up? So you can see here there are little pictures. And I don't know what that little picture means, but if I hover over it, it's going to let me know this is my quarterly report. Then we have they unsubscribed from an area report, a market report, or a quarterly report? They have not. Obviously, these people haven't because they're not set up yet. And are they inactive? Or have they bounced? It'll let me know that as well. So it kind of gives you a snapshot. You can see I have 3 pages of contacts here. And again, I can add people in new, I can refresh the page, or I can actually look for a very specific person. Let's say I want to find this person, do a search, this person's going to come up automatically. If I put someone's first name in the search field, it's going to bring up everybody with that first name. So you can see I'm in here a lot. These are all me. So you can see I've put myself in the system several times, and I would always recommend adding yourself as a client with your CB email, just because if I set someone up, I can set myself up as a client as well and receive the same marketing. As you create some of the reports, just note that if you select the button that says copy agent on report and you send to 200 people, you will receive 200 separate individual emails with that report. So sometimes if I'm going to send to a group, I like to add myself to the group, send it to myself as well. When the group gets it, I get it, I have that copy, and I'm good. The other option that we have, and I really like this, is I can import people. So I've been really busy working on my Intouch. I'm in my CRM. I'm in, my database, and I'm looking at all of the people that are in there. And I don't want to put 100 people in or even 20 people in separately, because that's just not an efficient use of my time. So again, I have my customer relationship management, so my CRM and Intouch, and I want to import those people from Intouch. So I'm going to show you. It's going to be a little quick, so I do apologize for that. But we're going to go into Intouch, and we're going to take the people from Intouch, and we're going to export them first. I'm going to go into the Intouch. I'm going to find all of my contacts. Once I get into Intouch, and it looks very overwhelming as we're doing it, but I promise you the steps are very very short, and they are simple once you learn them. And you may not have to do this frequently, but we can go into Intouch, we can click on our contacts button, and we can click on export, because I want to take people out of Intouch and I want to put them into Prospect Square. This will also work if you have a CSV file on your computer. You're able to do that as well. So I'm going to, whatever group that I want to bring over, I can do that. So let's just, for example, I'm going to choose this purposely, and you'll see why in a moment. I'm going to take the Harford County Regional Agent group that I have. I want to use all of the people in that group. And the reason that I'm not selecting everyone is because if I select every single group that's here, when I put them in a Prospect Square, I'm then going to have to go through each individual person and add them to a group. So for this sake, I'm just going to select this particular group. I want all of the contacts that are in this group, and I'm going to hit this export button right here. So I'm exporting. You can see it comes up on the very bottom of my computer screen. I'm going to pull it up. It's going to be an Excel spreadsheet. It's going to be all of this crazy information, and I don't even really have to read it or look at it. I'm just going to save it to my computer where I know where to find it. If that's your desktop, if that's documents, if that's downloads, wherever you want to put that, I'm going to label it PS Class, Prospect Square, and I'm going to save it. So however you want to label it, whatever that group is, you can label it as such. Again, the only wrong way to do this is to put it on your computer and then you can't find it. So I've gone into Prospect Square. I'm going to click on my Import Export tab. Once I do that, basically the only thing I have to do now is follow the prompts. So I do want to import my contacts, and I want to select the file. So these are actually from a CSV file because I saved them from Intouch in that Excel spreadsheet in that CSV form. And I'm going to click next. And now I need to browse my computer to find that particular file. So I'm going to browse, and this is where I said the only wrong way to do it is if you can't find it later. I went to Documents. I have my PS class. I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to open. Now what it's going to do is it's going to take every single person that's in that file, and it's going to pull them up and put them into Prospect Square. But this is where I have to do a little bit of extra work. I need to match the fields, or mapping. I need to map the fields with the system. So here I have first name and first name, last name and last name, home phone number if they have it, work phone, I'm going to say is a business phone, cell phone, is a mobile phone. So they don't have to be exactly worded the same, just the same thing. But I definitely want to make sure if I don't map anything else, I have to have the first name, I have to have the last name, and I have to have the email address no matter what, or it doesn't work. Prospect Square must have an email address. So you can see here I have 12 pages, and as I scroll through, every page is consistently mapped. I don't have to go through all 12 pages and do all of the mapping. It's already done for me. Anything that I've done up here is consistent through every page. So now I'm going to go ahead and select the next button at the bottom. And this is where I have a decision to make. Do I want to update the existing contact details for anyone that I've mapped out? So the first name, the last name, the email address. If I have those mapped out, do I want to update anybody already in the system? Do I want to just replace everyone in my system? Do I want to ignore the duplicates them or allow duplicates to be created? It's very important to note at this point, I could know 20 people with the name of Jennifer Smith. What makes a duplicate in this sense is the email address. As you can see, I am in my own system multiple times with multiple different email addresses. I can then input myself as a single contact and duplicate myself if I want. Now, obviously, there's no reason that we would want duplicate email addresses. So for this, I usually just ignore the duplicates. I don't import them. I'm going to hit next. And this is where I can select a group that's already created. Maybe I forgot to do that step, and that's why I always do this before we get to groups. Maybe I forgot to do that. So it does give me an option here to create a new group. And maybe I want to call that, maybe that's my car club, maybe that's my PTA or my gardening group, or maybe it's a big group of people from a church, like anywhere you got those people. For this reason, I'm just going to go through and I'm going to hit my Harford County Regional Agents. So now you can see why when I pulled it out of Intouch, I pulled that specific group. If there's 100 and some people in this group, they're going to stay grouped. I don't have to go through 100 people now and group them in the system because ain't nobody got time for that. Time is money. I say it frequently. I want to make this as easy on myself as possible. I'm just going to select that same group here. Or if I have this group and I don't have it yet in Prospect Square, this gives me the ability to create it. So I've selected my group, or if I decide that I don't want to group them at all, I can do that too. I would not recommend that, only because groups are how you're going to use them for your listing concierge marketing. So I'm going to go ahead and hit the next button. Now the only thing I have left to do is hit the finish button. So the system's going to gray out a little bit. It's going to think. And you'll see here the total number of contacts that it went through was 111, and it did it quickly. My invalid records that did not import were 109, and I have 2 that actually did come through the system. You have options here. I'm going to hit OK and I'm going to leave and I'm never going to know what happened. I don't recommend that. I can view the contacts that were not imported, but the minute that the list comes up and I click off of it, I've lost it forever. My professional recommendation would be to download the contacts that were not imported. Now, as I do that and I click that, I'm going to pull that CSV file up. You can see down here on the bottom, it's going to pull up and it's going to let me know all of these people were not imported. Now I can go through and kind of delete, and I can get their emails, their phone numbers. Why weren't they imported? These are all people that are already in my system. I told it not to duplicate, so it didn't. And then what it does is it does give me 2 new people that have gone through. And then I'm going to hit OK. If I've downloaded the contacts not imported, that gives me the opportunity to save that to my computer. I can go back later. I can look at it. And now I have some new people. And you'll see here, it added Ashley and it added Brandy. Now, I like to pretend I did this on purpose, so we'll just pretend I added Brandy before. But you can see here how I have Brandy with cbmove.com and I have cbrealty.com. The system doesn't know the difference. It doesn't know if one of these is a vanity email. It doesn't know if these are different emails. Again, I could know 50 people with the same name, but they all have different emails. This is where that human component comes in. So I can also go through and I can click on first name or last name. And you'll see here, it's starting me at the beginning of the alphabet. I'm able to go through and look at every single client. I can see if I have double emails, double clients. So when I get down here to Brandy, I see that I have 2 of Brandy and I have 2 separate emails. So do I want to keep one? Do I want to get rid of one? Do I need to keep them both? If I know as the human here, not the system, as much as advanced technology is, it doesn't have that human element to say, oh, this Brandy and this Brandy, they're the same person. Maybe this is the preferred email that this person wants to use. I can go through and I can delete the record. Just know, if I have just deleted that record out of the system, there's no trash can anywhere. I'm not going to get that back. It's just gone. So if I wanted to put her back in again, I would just have to input that particular. Now I have her in here. She's got her good email address. I've got her information. She's in my group and we're good. Are there any questions to this point? I always have to remind myself that it's very cut and dry for me because I've done this umpteen time. You're coming in new. It's not as cut and dry. But basically we want to go through, we do want to add a new client here. Again, that's just one client, first name, last name, email address. I can add them to any group that I already have created. And again, you'll see sometimes with prospects where I've noticed that it takes it a minute to come up. That's okay. And again, I can add them. Now, if I'm adding this person in and I don't see the group that I want, I do have the opportunity to go over here to the side menu again, to the groups. I can click on that and I can see all, and I apologize, my home phone is ringing. So I can browse through. Again, I can hit the name button. They'll put them in alphabetical order for me and I can see the different groups that I have. I can get rid of groups. So for example, I have a PTSA group in here. Let's just say I have 12 people in my PTSA group and my son graduates and I'm not in the PTSA anymore. And most of the people in that group, I'm going to add them to a different group. I can get rid of that group. Am I sure I want to delete it? I am. There's no going back. No going back. I'm going to hit yes, and it's going to remove that group. Now, what happens to those 12 people? They're still in my database, just like an Intouch. I can delete the group. The people will still be there. It's just the grouping of the people is gone. So then I would have to make a mental note. to go into those 12 people. Maybe I want to add them to a different group. So I can add a new group here just by hitting this new button. Excuse me. And again, it's going to think for a moment, and I can label this group anything I want. It's completely up to me. Maybe it's my sphere. Maybe it's my sphere of influence. Maybe it's my SOI. It can be a car club, a gardening group, any way that you want to do it. And then I'm going to save and close. And you can see here, it's not letting me because I don't have my required field. So let me just go ahead and put that PTSA group in there again and save and close. So my record was created. I now have a group that I can add people to. And again, you'll see it came up in alphabetical order. I can also find a specific group. So if I'm somebody that has like a whole bunch of them, I can go in and find, is it something that's already been deleted? If it's something that's been deleted, I can hit yes. I can search for it. It's going to come up, and here was that group. Oh, and I lied. They have changed this. Yay, they have listened. I can undelete this group now. This is wonderful. Look, see, I'm learning things as you're learning things. So I can go again and browse through all of my groups. When I go over here to the bar, again, click on that group button. It's going to pop up with all of my groups. Now, what happens if I deleted the group and then I added another one? So now we have kind of a thing here where, now I'm going to have two of the same group. As the person, I need to go into the groups, determine who's in them, which group do I want to keep, do I want to have both groups, etc. And for some reason, my system has decided to stop. All right, so bear with me one moment here. So hopefully when I refresh it, it will pop back up for me. And we'll be able to see all of the groups again. Again, I do apologize that it's taking a moment. But groups are important because it's how we base our marketing. So I could set a group up. Maybe I have an open house. Okay, this isn't coming up. So we'll do it this way. Oh, maybe I need to take that out and say all. Oh, there we go. So you can see here, now I have all of them, and I have things that have been deleted. So here I had different groups that I've created and I've deleted. And now it is giving me a new function that I can undelete them as I wish and have that group again. And then when I click on that group, anybody that was in that group will appear. So that's where I would need to go through and determine which of these groups do I want to keep. I can go through and I can open them. You can see I don't have anyone in this one. There's probably not anybody in that one either. But you can click on it and see the people that are in the group and look at the contacts. And again, it's going to give me all of the contacts that are in this particular group. So if you do find yourself with multiple groups, that's the way to do it. Go in, look at the contacts, see who's in there. Which group do you want to keep? Do you maybe want to keep both of them? But a great opportunity here is to go in and create groups for open houses. So maybe I have an open house in, guess what area I'm going to pick? So Joppatown. So I have an open house in Joppatown. I can go in, I can create a new group for my Joppatown open house. And then I'm able to go in and set that group up on an area report for Joppatown, or maybe I just want to call it Joppatown. And I'm going to save and close. And then anybody that comes to any open houses, so you can see I have my open house one here, but anybody that comes in and wants any information about Joppatown, I can go into my reports. I can set up an area report. I can set my Joppatown group up to receive the area report. And just like in Intouch, when I go back in and I add a contact, if I add the contact to that particular group, they're going to receive that particular email campaign. So where that would be important with your groups, if you're having an open house in Joppatown, people, we know not everybody's going to buy that particular house. Only one buyer can buy that house. So what happens to all of the other people that come through your open house? You go to Prospect Square, you print out an area report, you have a couple of those on hand, and you have your registry now for your open house. And I want to find a way to keep in contact with these people. So I'm going to give them information because I know that they were interested in real estate. They came to my open house. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to add them to my Joppatown group or my open house, however you want to label it. I'm going to add them to that group. I'm going to set the group up on a report campaign. And then the people that open house every month will receive an area report with new data on the area. I can then go in as well and create a market report. So you have a quarterly report, which is the 4-time-a-year base report for a county. You have an area report, which is updated on the 8th of every month, and that is based on zip code. I can also do zip code with single family homes, or I can do or I can just do everything that's in that zip code. Market report is where I get down to the nitty gritty. And maybe somebody says, well, I want to live in 21085, but I want to live on Rumsey Island, or I want to live in Lohr's Orchard. And we see this frequently in the areas that we farm. We see this frequently in the areas that we serve. People can be very particular. I want this specific subdivision. We're able to go in and create a market report. We can draw that out on the map. We can set a group up on that. So maybe I had an open house on Rumsey Island, and those people are only interested in buying a house on the island. That's okay. I can set that report up. I can set up that group, and I can set that report to that specific group of people. In order to send any of these reports to someone through the system, they must, as an Intouch, be in my system. You can see here you are able to add people to more than one group. So I have this person set up. This person is getting a quarterly report. This person here is set up to get a market report and an area report and a quarterly report. And again, I can click on this person to edit. I can go into this person. I can see what they're getting at any time. I can look at the report that they are looking at to see what's going out. And here I have this person. This person's set up in the system. I can get all of their contact information. I have their email address and everything in here. I can click on them and go in again, get that information. What reports are they receiving? And I really like this. So here this person was added in 2018. They have a 5-star rating. They're getting a Towson area report, a Joppa area report. They have 6 active campaigns, so that's probably a lot, but this is me. I have their email address. I have their home address. They are subscribed for all reports, so this person is not unsubscribed. And if there's any activity in the system, if I need to put any notes in, I can also create a report from here. And I can see if they've opened, and I'm always a very bad example. I apologize because I don't go in and open these like I should. But I can see if they've opened emails in the past 7 days, in the past 10 days. I can open everything now, all of my recent marketing reports that have been sent to this particular client or prospect. And that this client received a Joppa market report. It was created in February. That's when I first set her up. The last time it was emailed was on the 2nd of October. I have this test here. It was set up in 2018 and it's still running. She hasn't unsubscribed. So even if she's not opening them, I'm gonna leave it alone. Here, this person's getting a Towson report. The market specific areas, Baltimore County and Towson. And again, it's giving me information When was the date that I created it? When was the last date that the person received it as well? And I can go in here and I can create another area report. I can create another quarterly report in this field or market report from here as well. So it does give you a little bit of extra data. And I do apologize when I hit that button. There is an extension button here to make that bigger, a little bit easier to read without all of the jargon behind it. If I have their picture, I can put that in. I can edit the contact any way that I need to. And again, I can put in notes. What if this person, you know, maybe she was unsure. She didn't know, did she want to live in Towson? Did she want to live in Hartford County? She doesn't know. So I can put that information here. Up and coming, we don't have it yet, but Clients for Life will be something that integrates periodically, I believe, over the next year. That's just some other great marketing, and we'll get to that at the time. If you're going through and you find that there are people in here that you're not working with anymore, they've asked to be removed, or for any reason you want to remove them, you can go through and click the delete button and you can delete their record. Now they are gone, but we can also see here that we can find people. Again, we want to look for anybody that's inactive. We can go back and look for deleted people, anything that's bounced. So yes, I want to see everything that's bounced. Maybe that's all I want to see, and I can search. And you can see here I don't have anything that's bounced. So it's a little more complicated getting into the nitty-gritties like that, but the base is you want to come into your contacts. I can add one new contact here. I can import my contacts here. And again, I want to refresh or reset. So I went into the find. You can see here, I'm not seeing anything. I don't want to panic. I'm going to go into my find button and I'm going to change that. Now I want to see everyone. Maybe I only want to see certain things. I'm just going to say all and search. And that's going to pull up my entire database. Now, again, I can go through the find button. And again, if I don't want to see anybody that's unsubscribed, I don't want to see anybody that's inactive, if I don't want to see the people that are deleted, I can say no to any of those and I can search. And again, then I'm going to get, now I have everybody that's current in my system. So I hope that that makes sense. Because there are times when I want to see every single person. Who are the people that I took out? Who are some people maybe that have unsubscribed? Or maybe just my current people. I want to see my current people. I want to go through. I want to look at the first name, the last name, the email. You know, what have I set them up to receive? Are they getting marketing? Probably my homework for myself, so I don't just give it to you, I do give it to myself, is to go through here and make sure that every single person is set up on some kind of a report. They're not currently. So maybe this would be a really good opportunity to set these reports up. Because it's COVID, it's a really great opportunity as well to share these reports on social media. Tell people, if you want them in your inbox, let me know. It could be something as simple as somebody just sending me their contact information. I go in, I add them to a report, they get the report, and maybe they sell their house with me. Maybe they buy a house with me. Maybe they're just overly impressed and they refer their neighbor. So it really is a great opportunity to go in and get these people in here, market to them, send them your reports. And basically this class was just to teach you, again, how to add our contacts, how to add our groups. Again, it's your business. You do your groups the way that makes sense to you and for your narrative and your business. You know, add your people in here. Excuse me, set them up on the area, the quarterly reports, and use those to your advantage. Does anybody have any questions? No questions? You guys are quiet. So I did show you that you could go through and sort by first name. You're also able to sort by last name. If I check this little arrow right there, you'll see it's really super, super tiny. But the little arrows right here, I am able to go via the end of the alphabet. If I click that button again, it's going to, take me to the beginning of the alphabet. I can go by group. So actually, I can't go by group. So you'll see anywhere it has these little arrows, I'm able to toggle by that. So group doesn't, but email address, name, first name, last name, I'm able to click on those. And again, I can click more than once and it'll go from ABC, or maybe it's starting at Z, YX. So you do have that option as well. Any questions? No questions at all? So that's how you get them in there. If you get stuck while you're doing this, or you need some help, just let me know. We can do a one-on-one appointment. I would highly recommend going into your Intouch. Hopefully you already have your contacts here. Hopefully you have your groups, and go through your groups one by one, export them, bring them to Prospect Square, import them into Prospect Square, and then your Intouch and your Prospect Square will be mirrored. So you'll basically have the same database in both. And a common question that I get is, why do I need to do this? So Intouch is a system that allows us to put people in our customer relationship management database. So our CRM. It allows us to put people in our CRM any way that we can stay in touch with them. I can add Vicky and I can put her in if I have her email, or if I have her phone number, or if I have her mailing address. Prospect Square is email only. So it is a little bit different. And again, while Intouch, we can send pretty postcards, we can send flyers, we can send all kinds of marketing materials. Prospect Square is to help us brand ourselves as an area expert. Excuse me, it does help us to send these area reports, and it helps us to be, let people know that we do have expertise. Again, we can have all the experience in the world, but now we have this expertise here. We can set people up. Again, you can have as many groups as you need that make sense to you, and put all of your contacts in here. And I would highly recommend, if you don't do anything else, at least have one group that's your sphere of influence, and you're able to send your listing concierge marketing out to your sphere of influence group. When you do the email marketing flyer through listing concierge, that is done through your Prospect Square. And the reason for that is because it's email based, and everyone in Prospect Square has an email, where not everyone in Intouch has an email. So that's the difference there. Any questions? Comments? You guys are easy today. So that's the gist of it. I would say definitely go in to Prospect Square. If you haven't already, complete your profile, and then go in, add your contacts, add your groups to it. And we will have another class up and coming where I'm going to show you how to create your reports. So in the meantime, get those contacts in there, group them together, so that when you do get to the report and you learn how to create the report, you already have the contacts in there waiting, you already have the groups in there waiting, and you're able to send the reports out immediately to your clientele, your prospects, everybody that's in your database. So we will